Hey Ratbags, it's Jade back again with another deeper dive into some of the armour and weapons and the archetypes that we may be exploring with Grounded 2. Today we're taking a look at Mage. Probably one of the more underrated gear sets in Grounded 1, but also because it was kind of a bit rubbish. They ended up having to buff it a bunch of times and it never felt right. Like I always wanted to utilise it and really get good at it, but there was definitely some problems with blocking, not feeling like it was powerful enough to compete. Maybe only really good as a support class with your friends. And that's just my hot take. I'm sure some of you guys have absolutely loved being a mage in Grounded, so don't let me put you off from playing it as a mage in future. But some of the AoE effects were a bit inconsistent as well sometimes. So yeah, improvements definitely needed, and definitely more added in terms of armor sets would be absolutely amazing. Devs have said there's going to be big improvements, and from the clips and stuff we can see we've got at least 2 mage sets of armor and 2 staves, with perhaps a third set to be revealed. The big new flashy thing is the butterfly armor set, but is it only butterfly parts it's going to be made out of? Because the stave itself is made out of scorpion. Northern scorpion to be exact, and doing fresh damage. So from first glance it's not really too different from the fresh stave that we had in Grounded 1. With the new light and heavy attacks that's still going to apply to the staves, and you could argue well that's not that different from the charge attack in Grounded 1. Of course, bearing in mind that the fresh damage in Grounded 1 was pretty short range, acting like an AoE effect at close range. And that would do more damage if you held it, but it does look like these will be just alternate buttons to hold and press as well, releasing that choc chip mint goodness, and then just like a regular kind of projectile attack. But will still fly in a little bit of an arc, but probably not going to do as much damage as the AoE, but still good for flying enemies. Chilling joining obviously the brand new Venom maybe effect, as well as Sizzling. But maybe no return of Sour, even though we've seen some of the Sour rockets packages in Grounded 2 already. But yeah, I guess that's something that will be revealed if it does get added as another candy type. Anywho, let's talk about what we do know, or can have a strong guess at. It does look like to me it may still have components of butterfly in it, especially when you look at the base of the stave. I'm kind of liking the idea that the mage set here with the stave and the armor is going to be a combination of 2 bugs, distinct ones like the butterfly and the scorpion, to get the full effect. Because yeah, the staff for this does say it's made out of the northern scorpion parts or stinger. Although it is kind of troubling to me that the regular scorpions we've seen don't seem to look anything like the parts being used in this actual stave. It's definitely the one that's mentioned, unless there's some sort of placeholder issue where they got it wrong, but the description mentions it as well. The tip for these ones does look more green than blue. With complete speculation on my part, maybe there will be more than just the red, purple and green scorpions. There was an excerpt from an interview that said they are adding a scorpion, not many scorpions, but it could be a thing. Especially given it's still up in the air whether or not this is a red scorpion or it's just been affected by Sizzling. Staves aren't going to do much critical damage by looks of things, and they're still pretty slow, but they have got huge stun and moderate damage maybe. And they are going to be tier 2 items. I would have assumed that the item you get from killing a scorpion in the icebox would be something that you would use for a nice stave, but to be honest the colour and shapes of this thing are all wrong as well. Maybe I'm over analysing this, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, the actual butterfly armour itself is cool looking, if maybe a bit derpy with the mask. Maybe it's because Pete's got his glasses on, it just makes it look a bit more silly, like some harness that goes over your face. And just like with the daggers, you'll notice some little actions like stars and that circle decreasing, telling you that your charge attack is ready. And we see more of the actual sizzle effect with this stave. Again, seems to have either some sort of gloop on it or ice holding down together these spikes, obviously from some sort of bug, and then yeah, whatever the top is, again an eye from a bug perhaps, then launching obviously big balls of spiciness, dealing sizzling damage. So some guesses about what kind of bug parts we'll be using to make the sizzling staff. I think it could potentially be made out of cockroach parts. Roughly same sort of colour and hue, maybe a little bit lighter in this image at least. Cockroaches are going to be firing some sort of acid blobs at us. So I guess it makes sense that the acid will do a burning effect. When you look at the cockroach here, especially towards the legs, towards the top of its body, it definitely looks a little bit more like the actual stave. And I find it kind of odd that the, I guess, staff that is doing sizzle damage kind of looks like it should be one that does venom with all the green on it and stuff. Something we don't see much of in any of the other screenshots or clips though is maybe the second kind of mage set. Is this going to be more of a summoner set? Definitely giving me, like I said, summoner vibes from the arm sets from Grounded 1. It very well could be Ant Queen armor re-envisioned, but honestly I think it's a bit too early to say exactly what it does since we haven't seen any gameplay or any clips describing it. But kind of digging it, like the toga style, and you got like these armbands as well as the wristband. With the wristband especially having these kind of more gems slotted into the guard. So unless I missed it, I haven't come across any other pictures or very quick screenshots of any of the other staves. Looks like venom will be something we'll have to investigate in the future. But Whittle Wizard is making return as probably the main mutation you're going to need. Kill 40 creatures, 100 and 200 to get extra perks with basically infusing or getting more damage from your shots. I really do hope this applies proper debuffs, and that's why I'm still thinking maybe the Scorpion is something that's just had sizzle applied to it. Imagine if it's like a fully upgraded stave and the sizzle effect, the fire effect, burns a lot longer. And it'd be so cool if the ice effect really does freeze enemies in their place. Bit weird though that it doesn't actually mention venom in the Whittle Wizard description. Sure, it says candy staves, but you'd assume they would just make it really clear it is going to do the same job for all of them. I'm nitpicking maybe, but yeah. I do think there's an opportunity here to have had wands added to the game. Obviously not doing as much damage as two-handed staves, but being able to mix and match a little bit with, I guess, a kind of a rogue spellbreaker or spell sword. So hopefully that could be something we could petition for them to add. And obviously I'm really intrigued about what they might potentially do with like the summoner class. Like, is that going to be tied to magic? Is it going to be a subclass? Is it even going to be a thing? Now we've got buggies. Do summoning ants actually make sense? Feels like with the ant soldier being able to command to regular ants, then the summoner build will definitely have to be a new bug. I guess it does make sense to have more ant queens, right? These ants have got to come from somewhere, but we don't even know if we're going to see return of black ants and fire ants. Remember, there is some creatures that will be cut. They've said they're not in the game currently or they're being reworked. It's not guaranteed we're going to see every bug from Grounded 1 in Grounded 2. But that's pretty much it as far as I can check for all of this stuff. But for now, from all the reveals so far, 2 staves, 2 mage sets, although one may actually be a summoner set, and with some sort of venom style stave to come in the future. Let me know if there's anything I missed. Was there a stave in a picture? Was there some other armour that maybe could be tied to magic? Did you really rock the mage build in Grounded 1? At the very least, it looks like we'll be gaining access to magic stuff maybe a bit earlier in Grounded 2. Anywho, laters ratbags.